let's talk about Killing Floor 3 and Tripwire Interactive. Now, I am just fed up. I'm like, Stitch level bad right now because I'm frustrated. I'm seeing right now that many players are being silenced by Killing Floor or Tripwire because they don't want to see their critiques online or, comments that don't appeal to the masses, because majority of people are not happy with the state of Killing Floor and the fact that it's literally being launched in a matter of a day's time. And they tried to really big promote the stress test. At first it was very limited, and then they realised there probably wasn't as many people playing. I got invitations twice to invite 3 friends or 2 friends along. So yeah, we've got a lot to talk about, and I just want to rant about it and get it all out because I'm fed up, quite frankly, and I'm fed up with the biased certain YouTubers who seem to get away with posting stuff which is against the NDA that you had to sign before you played the stress test. So that YouTuber knows who they are. They'll probably comment down below if you do. I still would like an answer as to why you were able to post the beta footage when everyone else was forced to sign an NDA to say you could not record and you were not allowed to take screenshots. Basically, you weren't allowed to talk about or just post anything to do with the stress tests. But they've uploaded a whole entire stream of the whole entire stress test, but you had to sign an NDA for. So, and it says in big symbols, and I'll put a screenshot on screen so it showed, that is what we all had to sign. So it seems like this person as well has had some folly before with previous content creators and just gamers alike, wondering why they have such a biased opinion. They seem to be quite arse-licky, and I mean, I don't really care to divulge with this certain YouTuber. To everyone else, being a streamer or a content creator, a YouTuber, and you're putting out content, that makes it sound like you have an opinion, but really you are biased because you haven't in with the devs, or you're allowed to do certain things that everyone else isn't. It kind of makes your opinion and views invalid because you've kind of, it's almost like, oh, I know who your friends are, and you're being told to have an opinion, or, you get away with certain things that people don't. It doesn't feel valid, and it just feels disingenuous and a little bit malicious because, I've had them come into my comment section, not only soft promote themselves, but talk about how they were going to have a more positive video. And it's just like, well, you just literally outed yourself. I would like to hear what everyone else thinks, basically, because I think we've all had enough. Today, I think I just snapped. I was walking home and my comment got deleted on their socials. Everyone's did. It wasn't just mine, but I wrote a lengthy one explaining what was wrong, how it's not fair on new players, and also just OG vets of Killing Floor who, this isn't the game that we love. This isn't the same franchise. It's not even in the same vein. It is not a good look to delete critique and to remove people's comments, whether there's a few that were kind of positive. But the reason why they're deleted is because people were replying to those positive comments saying why it wasn't. There wasn't even many comments, but the fact is they deleted everyone's comments. So I immediately put hard deleting comments, and people are agreeing, going, yep, my message. It screams red flags. I'm sorry, Tripwire, but what makes you so special to silence your player base? Again, I said this in one of my first videos. It's like we're being force-fed this shit, and if you don't accept it, then you're out. They don't want your money. They don't want you to play the game. They want to silence you and only take your money. That is it. They don't care about the players. Oh, they'll listen to some critique because it's genuinely about how the guns feel, one of the main mechanics. And if they don't actually fix that, they know no one's going to play the game, and it's going to get berated by not just players, but higher ups and reviewers and bloody other game companies probably. I've seen it happen, but you cannot silence people because they're giving constructive criticism. They're pointing out your flaws. You have to accept it. And do you know what? This just adds to the fact of I had a video ready in preparation. It was just going to be talking about the Discord. But do you know what? I think I'm just going to throw it all into this video because I'm fed up. I'm so fed up because at the end of the day, it is people's money. You may be working hard and making a game, but you're also demanding people pay for that game, and it is just not finished, okay? I'd rather go and play Minecraft, a game that's been out for absolute eons and easy to play, has no issues, fun, does what it says. This, though, we're falling into the trap of games coming out in fucking early access all the time. I'm sick of live service and early access and flipping battle passes and stores and FOMO and limited time and pre-ordering. I am sick to fucking death of it. Sick and tired of it. I mean, Skyrim can get away with re-releasing the game, but do you know what? I don't even care at that point. At least Skyrim's bloody fun, you know? I love that. But this is a joke. You can't silence people, and you can't bully them and pick on them and just remove people's comments because you want people to buy your game. They're not going to buy it. They're not going to buy it. You can literally throw in the best bits of your advert and show a little bit of the whatever it is for the trailer. It still looks shit. I've played both beta tests. I've played the beta, the original one that came out, and I've seen the dev diaries. I've been watching other YouTubers. I've recently subscribed to someone who I didn't even think anyone would have a similar opinion than me, but they hit the nail on the bloody head. If I'm able to, I'll link their video in the description, because you bloody literally was speaking my mind and just saying it in such a more eloquent and digestible way, whilst I just rant and just say how I feel because I'm just raw with it. Okay, I'm not saying to people that are happy with what we've got, that's fair, you're allowed to be happy, but you've got to admit it is not Killing Floor. You're just happy that we finally got another game in the franchise, that the guns kind of work, and woohoo, you see blood and explosion, you just want to release and let off steam. Okay, now let us actual, you know, people that are going to be playing the game for a lot more than probably you are, with friends or making content on it or divulging proper, getting invested in the lore, spending many of our lifetime just investing in this video game. To us, it is way more serious than just letting off steam with a few buddies and I see blood and gore and the gun goes boom. Okay, there's way more to it than that. And Killing Floor 2 had also its you know, baby steps at the start, but it became a great game. That shouldn't be the exact same example for 3. It should be learning from your previous mistakes so it's great on launch. They've had 3 betas. They've had 3 tests already. They didn't delay it much. They just made a few tweaks and then it was like, right, we've made this smoother, we've changed this a little bit, we've added 2 more maps, and, you know, we've adjusted some lighting and added a little bit of nitty-grittiness. That's not enough to make a game fully launchable. There was a lot more grievances, people and players, and especially people who know a lot more about gaming than I do, and they stated it way better, and it's still like they're not listening. They're just appealing to the easiest things and what makes a bigger difference on launch. But we've still got locked heroes. We still have a really grindy system. We still have janky mechanics and lighting and animations. We still have stolen IP all over the place. And when I say that, I mean like we're stealing signatures. Whenever I see the bloody execution in Killing Floor 3, I'm sorry, no matter how much you tweak it, it is literally Doom's signature. Other games have had similar, but they don't literally copy it frame for frame, and there has been validation that there is ex-Doom devs working at Tripwire. It's literally like it's their homework, or it's too many devs spoiling the brew. It has no proper identity. You can slap on Horzine and Zeds, but guess what? You've changed them as well. Now the Zeds don't even have their own identity. They look fucking awful, and I'm sick to death of it. I might be, do you know what, as well, I think I might be the only passionate female content creator on Killing Floor, because I can't find another woman who agrees with me or is making the same content. And I don't care if I'm the villain here. I will bring up what is bad just so it can be fixed to make it great. That is all we want. That's all I want. I want to be happy and immersed and proper happy, like just, you know, feel grateful that the game becomes something as good as Killing Floor 2, if not better. You know, mix 1 and 2. That's pretty much all you had to do. And instead, you've kind of said it's futuristic, whilst we've actually gone back a bit. You know, the guns look really boring. In the dev diary, you admitted that, oh, everyone said the guns are too futuristic and we wanted something more modern. Who asked for that? No one did. People just didn't want exactly the same as Killing Floor 2. I think they misconstrued that. They didn't understand it. Now we've got guns that look like something you could literally buy in America, and maybe you get some spray paint on. Oh, and hell forbid, now we have stickers and charms. Great. Another thing to just, you know, attack your wallet with, because everything else doesn't matter as long as they get your money, remember? I'm gonna take a breather, sorry, I'm very angry. Oh, there's a squeak on the radar, there's a squeak on the radar. Look, I ain't gonna sugarcoat anything here. It's just gone downhill since 2. I think the community does better than the devs themselves. I've already expressed in like 3 videos now. I've done a raw reaction to the recent dev diary. I'll link that in the description as well. It's a bit hard to watch because it's a longer video with less like animations going on. It's mostly me talking and reacting as I go along, and I do go on tangents, but it's raw, okay? But if you actually made it halfway through that video, I made a lot of valid points, and I even put in some pictures about what I'm trying to talk about and what I'm describing. But a lot of people don't give videos like that a chance, but I'm really hoping and pray you just go and watch that and understand what I'm talking about. And then I made a video after that, but it actually was made before the dev review because I was delayed, okay? I'm so poorly, and I'm really trying my hardest to keep up and just be this content creator I want to be, and I'm passionate doing gaming, and it took me a time to get it out. And a few people were saying, oh, you didn't watch the latest dev diary. Well, I did, okay? The video's there. Just please go and watch that, because I've talked about this now, all the things that are just wrong and how it doesn't feel like it. So I feel like a broken record because I feel like no one's listening. I really don't want to have to go down that route and describe everything in detail, but I will just name a few things I can just remember now off the top of my head, just so we can just get it out there for this video. So let's talk about the game itself, okay? It is so janky. If you've played the beta, it is awful to play on. Like it feels like it's just not ready on like a really broken server or really dodgy code. I can't quite explain it because I'm not a game dev, but it just doesn't feel like it's ready. It feels like a pre-alpha. Like it doesn't even feel like ready for launch. Like when you run, sometimes you lag a little bit. I don't know if that's just like the stress server, but you've got to realize a lot of people are going to probably be playing into this game. You've got to have the capacity to have a lot of people. I don't want to be boomeranging or lagging back a bit or getting grabbed without seeing the Z a few meters away first. So that there is some sort of jankiness and a bit of boomeranging and elasticity going around with whatever it is when you're on the live game. Because when you're in the lobby for some reason it's fine, but when I got into the maps, it just felt like I was a bit not exactly where I was meant to be in the map. I can't explain it, but that's just one thing I had specifically, especially with the recent stress test. And also, we're not allowed to add in the footage from the stress test. I did actually record all of it offline, but I'm not going to post it because of the NDA. I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want to lose my profile, but and my channel, because I've worked so hard to do this for years. But I had a lot of footage captured, and I wish I could show it, or even just screenshots to explain what I'm talking about. But the stress test wasn't leaving much room to be, beloved, because I was only impressed with the fact that they fixed the gun smoothness, that it didn't feel too heavy or just clunky or not shooting right. The bullets felt a little bit better, but again, we're left with like really crap weapons as well. They're not great, and I played for a few hours and I still didn't have a decent enough weapon to really take on anything higher than normal or even do well in normal. It was okay, but it wasn't great, I'd rather just play Killing Floor 2. The guns do as they say. It was smooth, it was fine, the bullets do as they say. But in this, it just feels like your gun is rubbish, probably even after 10 hours of play. Because the amount of time that I played the beta now, and for the very first beta that they did, let's just say that's like a good 6 to 10 hours, and I still feel like my weapons aren't as good. And they made a tweak to the medic with the gunplay there, so you now get darts, but they're capped to your ammo. There's only a certain gun, I think it's the sidearm, that gets a rechargeable dart, but again, it's worse than the Hemtech pistol in KF2, medic pistol. So it's just so many little things that are wrong and not quite right. But yeah, the gunplay, just because they've tweaked it so it feels smoother, it doesn't mean it's still good. It can still be massively, heavily improved. So that kind of adds to the whole like janky vibe. The maps are really, really dark, and I mean like not to the point where they're meant to be dark and it adds to the atmosphere. Yeah, I get that, but I'm running the game on medium as well because the game was like shot up in like the most extreme settings, even though my PC could probably handle it, but it was struggling, right? The shaders took about 35 minutes to install as it is. But the maps, I was outside in some of them. I think it was like the radar tower, and in this like sloped hill, and you've got this like interesting design where you've got these trenches in the distance, or like these barricades for obviously what's coming in. It's a bit more military setup, and you've got these two sort of almost like tree tower things, and believe it or not, no one had a thing where you could a multi-tool where you could make a zip line. That could be a really cool feature, but yet the husks are continuously jumping up there like monkeys and just throwing their bloody fireballs at you like. But you couldn't really see a lot of that because of this really awful lit up slope, and the lighting just comes from these tiny like it's just poorly lit. And even when you put the flashlight on, it just, the darkness, it doesn't add atmosphere. It just feels stupid. It feels like it's not ready. It just feels like you've not sorted your lighting out properly, or the map just isn't good enough to sort of have that kind of lighting. When I'm stood and I have a flashlight on, I expect to see things very fucking clearly within a few meters of me, even to my peripheral, right? I expect to see, even if it's a bit shady, I do expect to see any kind of Z. But most of the time, you've still got those awful looking crawlers, which will, again, briefly touch on the Zeds in this. But I couldn't really make out much, even in front of me. And you can't have that. You can't have that in all maps. And it felt like that in every single map. All the maps just look ugly as well. I'm sorry, they're as ugly as my face. But a lot of them are just too grey wash, red wash, bland, no life, no character, not really felt lived in, just feels like it's just not ready, or I don't know what it is. They just don't feel as like they've got that heart in, kind of like Killing Floor 2 maps. In fact, I think a lot of the community maps made on Killing Floor 2 have more heart and soul in and feel lived in, feel a bit more real. But these, I can't describe it. It's almost like maybe they're too big, but they're just also empty at the same time. And they don't have that vibe. I don't get it. It's almost too futuristic, but there's nothing going on. And like I said, some interesting features like those weird trenches and barricade thing, or the little treetop things, but it's still not ticking boxes. I can't quite describe it. It's almost like this game is still not ready. It's almost like it's a year and a half away from even being launchable. But I would dive into the maps too much, but I'll be going back and making another video to what I've basically already made. I mean, I've already pretty much talked about the guns. I don't want to keep, repeating the same thing, but they don't all feel great. The music's not fantastic. There's only like 3 songs that I'd say are all right. But again, it was something I mentioned in a previous video I did. It was like the noises of the Zeds and the sort of gun noises and the music. Sometimes it blends too much together and it's hard to distinguish. The heroes, they are a joke. We shouldn't have locked heroes on launch. We should have way more variety. I know Killing Floor 2 introduced some more, but they actually had a bit more roster, a bit more variety and diversity, if we're using those terms. But yeah, the fact that at the moment it's still locked on launch, they've had enough time to make that not so. The skill trees are relevant to the class itself. Why do the characters have to be locked into the class? But yeah, I digress. As well as the skins all being like boring at the moment in the store and supply pass, they're all homages to previous, installments, and it's just like we should just pretty much get those for free, especially people that, are buying the game on release. But it's another member berry, and we've got Foster and DJ Scully, which again, member berries, because people wouldn't really click 100% with the current roster, but they had to throw in, the big boys that we love from Killing Floor 2, and they're clones. Great. So not the same voice actors. Woohoo. The characters don't really have any personality. A lot of people say this. I don't know who's done the voice acting for them, but you're fucking terrible. Sorry. Absolutely awful. They just sound so drone. They're just speaking off scripts, and like if it says say with excitement, it's like, oh wow, like it sounds that boring and just like that straight to the point. They did get a veteran actor, British actor, to play Foster, but again, I think he was wasted. They could have been utilized to make a brand new character that maybe vets and OGs and new players could really admire and adapt. Maybe make some sort of maybe someone who's trying to keep the militia alive, this army. Maybe he's someone higher up and he's like all that's left, kind of like a almost, I don't want to say copy, but like how Bill is in Left 4 Dead 2, whatever, like how he's almost like the last, but he stays in military form. He's he's quite strict and he has the values and he has all that knowledge, but instead they've just made him Foster and they've changed his personality. And I just feel like original Foster and hit it, and this one just feels like it literally does feel like a clone of him, but not him at the same time. It's almost really too uncanny, and I guess they could have just maybe got the same actor. I don't know what happened there, or if they were able to recycle some lines, or I hate to say it, maybe even use AI if that was not a possibility, if the previous actor was allowed, or just not have Foster. Like, just not have him, or make him mute because he is a clone. Maybe they couldn't get a voice for him or something. I don't know, but I just don't like the idea that we have clones now because of member berries. Yeah, the characters just have no personality. They don't bond well. I said this in one of my videos where I talk about changes. They just don't vibe. and this, we're supposed to believe that this is a militia. This group of people is supposed to be a tight knit, you know, how I imagine like Navy SEALs to be, or, you know, young army folk. But they don't have that personality. They almost feel like they are just a bunch of randoms who have come together how Killing Floor 2 randoms came together, except they vibed well and they really had like relationships with each other, and you could feel the language between them and the emotion, you know, like one of them having a crush on another one, or, you know, them talking about the past as if it's the future, and just the sort of like their core personalities really shone through. And I just feel like we don't have that anymore, and not in this especially. I was struggling to actually hear decent voice lines. So yeah, the characters are terrible. I'm not happy with the hero lock. And again, they look so generic and box ticking, and people go, no, they're not. They are. The traitor is absolutely awful. I do not like the voice casting for her. I actually miss the French lady from 2. I really liked her a lot, actually. I think she was like Killing Floor's sweetheart, and then Z Time was their signature, like their core. But now we've just got this irritating voice that just interrupts you, and she breaks the vibe up, and she tells you what's going on. Like, shut the fuck up! I'd fucking throw that walkie-talkie. I literally did a little tiny clip in my previous video, and it's like, you know that scene out of Stranger Things where whatever that big thing is, like, grabs the walkie-talkie and throws it across the bloody mall. That's me whenever I hear that freaking trader talking. She tells me everything, so I, the player, don't get immersed and don't actually pick up things for myself. Like, she tells you when the Scrakes and the Flesh Pounders are on the scene. Shut the fuck up! I want to hear them come on the scene. I want to see them. I want to be fearful that I can see the thing coming in the distance, or hear the thumping or the roaring, you know? Or like, oh, she's just so irritating and just irrelevant. And I don't like the voice cast. I'm sorry. I'd rather we had like maybe a thing where we can get the original cast, like original Foster, to be like a trader voice, or like how in Killing Floor 2 you actually had like the Patriarch was doing, you know, like I think it's in the Christmas one, he was the trader voice, or Hans is the trader voice. I like that. Can we get that back? Or, you know, but then again, I don't really want any of these new characters to be a trader voice, because I don't like any of the voices acting at all. I can't stand their accents. I don't know why. It's just jarring. It's not hitting it for me. New Foster, like I said, his voice is fine, because, you know, it's just not Foster. I just feel like he could have been better utilised as a new character. But yeah, trader voice is awful. Not a fan. And so far, I don't want to play the game, but I have to because I got gifted it. The HUD is really, really fucking bad. If you want to copy Warhammer Darktide, at least go and get their permission signed, okay? I hate the hub and the HUD and the UI. It's so, oh, can I copy Doom's homework? Literally. I don't like it. Don't like it at all. It's boring as well. I really like crap text. Like the font is uninspiring. The HUD is just ugly, generic, boring. It's actually quite hard to figure out as well when you're like on the store side. I feel like it's almost purposely maliciously set out in a way that you could accidentally purchase things or click on things you don't mean to. And I said this in one of my, I think it was the first beta video that I did review, because I picked up on the fact is there is no confirmation screen when you purchase a skin, by the way. It is just as soon as you accidentally, and you only have to hold it down for a second, by the way, not even a second. It goes so fast, and you've bought it. And then someone pointed out the comment, oh yeah, but you've already bought the currency, so it doesn't matter. Yes, it fucking does. It's still your money. It's still your inventory money, and there's no way to refund it either. It's malicious, and there's no confirmation screen. You know, Fortnite got in trouble for that, right? And they had to pay millions and millions back to parents whose like credit cards were like taken by their kids and stuff. And you're sort of aiming this game now at like even a younger audience, or just new players in general who maybe don't have their own money and funds, are definitely going to use their parents' money. So yeah, you need confirmation screens. I'm so frustrated. I just don't like I said at the start, I really don't like this really aggressive approach on taking players' money before actually displaying a really good game and making you want to buy certain things. It's got this now Call of Duty grindy aspect where you've got a grind for charms and stickers and spray paints for your weapons, given in mind our weapons are absolutely diabolical and really rubbish and low tier at the moment, and you seem to be locked to 4 per character, which is not great, or 4 per class, sorry, they're locked, so sorry for me getting that misconstrued, okay. Yeah, I'm not interested in that when I play Killing Floor. Like, it's a cool little, like, you know, nuanced thing, like, oh, okay. But I noticed there's a big feature for that. When you accidentally reload when you're at full mag and you start to inspect your weapon, oh my god, that animation goes on for far too long, and all it is to show, look at all the money you've given Tripwire by looking at your fancy gun with the skins and stickers and charms hanging off, which, first of all, you won't really see too much when you're shooting. You're going to be focusing on the actual game, not how pretty your gun looks. I feel like that's going to add to the more malicious money-making aspect of the game now, where it's all about skins and the more rarity and the FOMO of it all. Like, oh, you weren't there for season 1 release, or you didn't buy the first supply pass or whatever. Like, it's just so malicious, and I don't like that. That shouldn't be what the game's about. You know, players should be able to buy things at a later period compared to when people who bought it at the start, okay? Like, that should be the flex, that the people that don't have it a few months later can be like, oh, and then they can buy it and then maybe earn it, you know, sort of like you can buy any battle pass later in the future, but you still have to grind and do the certain challenges to unlock the things in that battle pass. You know, that could be a really cool thing. I feel like Marvel Rivals is kind of touching on something similar to that, because if you bought the battle pass but you never completed it and a new one comes out, you can still go back and do the previous one. I wish they would allow it so you could still purchase an old one. They did do it for like a small window. They said you could re-buy it, but I'm hoping it's a thing that comes permanent in the future to allow players to just purchase as they will and not have the FOMO and all of that stuff. It's so malicious, and I just feel like in this day and age, why are game companies still like that? So learn a thing or two from Rivals, but I just don't like the maliciousness of it and the crap that they're throwing in there, and it's all skins, and the store, it looks like it's on a rotation thing, but I didn't see anything to do with trading or Steam Workshop or Marketplace, so we'll see about that as well. But yeah, it just seems way too malicious and just unnecessary. We just don't need a battle pass. I'd rather we just had a store that was on rotation or something. Like, I hate battle passes. They're in every single online game, I swear. Also, I just want to interrupt here, but if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing. I hate saying that, but I get a lot of people who watch my videos, agree with what I say, and then they don't subscribe. So please come back. I don't always make negative videos, actually. I'm quite a passionate gamer, as you can tell, but it would mean a lot if you would consider subscribing. And yeah, let's carry on. The end screen, or like you know, like when you finish the mission and you get all of those pop-ups, I really don't like those screens at all. It feels like I've just completed an Overwatch match or something. All these Marvel Rivals is also, sorry, shout out Marvel Rivals too much here, but they've just changed their end screen for a match now, and it's made me get locked out of my save highlights feature because it's mapped the button to the menus now, and I'm like, no. So in Killing Floor 3, it's the same thing. They've got these like multiple screens and like pop-ups with all, and you get a small time frame to read all that before you have to select a map. So if you skip it, you might accidentally go back to the main menu, or skip the map choice, or skip it altogether. But in Killing Floor 2, you had it all basically on like one screen, and you could just like move it along to see like the next part of like all your stats for that like particular level. But like, I like the pop-ups of who did the best in the match, and it was really like obvious. Like, you actually had little like awards and trophies, like who was the best. I want that back. Now we just have all these like pop-ups and just like this bit of progress, like, and it's all multiple screens as well, and then the timer, like, it's just all over the place. I don't like it. I feel like they need to go back to how Killing Floor 2 was with that, because I know a lot of people as well don't like that end screen. It's just awful. It's not nice. There's so many things wrong with this game. I'm really struggling to just get on board with people that are just happy. Go and play COD Zombies then, or Left 4 Dead 2. In fact, I need help with Left 4 Dead 2. I've got a load of achievements to do. Let's play Left 4 Dead 2 and you can help me, okay? Or I'll help you complete Back 4 Blood because I've completed it. Let's not do this game for now. Just let's go and play some old games, okay? Why are people happy with this so far? I don't get it. I'm sorry, I can't get on board with just accepting a pew 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 shooter. Like, I can't. It needs to be better than that. This is Killing Floor, and it doesn't feel like it. I think this genuinely is my crash out moment. I think this is like me flipping here. It can only get better from here, right? The Killing Floor 3 official Discord server. So this next section is mostly going to be me on that night where I was really upset and I had multiple people reaching out to me going, I've had this, that from the server, I've been treated like this, that, and the other, this is how I feel, and they wanted me to capture a lot of their comments, and that's what I've done. And I've also gone into the Discord and I've recorded what I've seen and I was ranting about it. Yeah, just warning though, there is going to be some like real, if you suffer with mental health and you know you have anxiety, depression, and you're a little bit get shaken up with certain terminologies or gaslighting, and narcissism, and also a slight racism, you know, I would just maybe skip this next bit, or just, I don't know, don't get too attached to it basically. But yeah, I'm going to talk about the Discord now, but it's mostly going to be from the footage that I recorded the other day, and then I'm just going to add in a little bit at the end. So this next section. If this video goes on a bit too long, just leave a like and enjoy. But this is my discovery and how angry I was that night, as well as just, I'll even put some screenshots on top of the Discord to show the comments that people had sent me, that, you know, how they felt. So that's just kind of how it's going to be. So yeah, this is the Discord bit. Hello, this is a weird video, but it needs to be talked about. Welcome back, newbies. My name is BBtheBEE. I predominantly do a lot of bitching about Killing Floor 3 now, but that's not what I really want to do, obviously, with my channel, or just with a game that I love and I've been making content on recently. But we need to talk about the Killing Floor official Discord, and particularly a certain moderator, as well as the devs that are in there and Tripwire, yada yada yada. I'm out here just trying to play a game in my free time. I'm sitting here chilling, and I have got people privately DMing me randomly saying how they're really upset with how they've been treated in the server, treated online. It makes me angry because it's so unprofessional. But I'm gonna just tab in here. So I will just say, when I did join the Killing Floor community, this was a while back, I did ask to be a content creator so I could have a few privileges to post in this section. They did remove that from me when I started arguing with a certain Discord mod and questioning their rules, because there wasn't actually a lot of rules, which funnily enough now, once I said there's no rules, they've now added some rules up here, which is pretty hilarious. But yeah, as soon as I started being a content creator and I was allowed to post in the server, like my stuff, I noticed that a certain Discord moderator then started like posting their live streams pretty much like every day that I was talking or mentioning that I was going to go live. So, and I can just see like here, you know, every time I posted the video, they would go live. So I noticed that they're kind of tracking me and then trying to spam themselves. And then as soon as I left the creator program, they stopped like posting. And every time I did post a video as well, there's always an issue. Yeah, if you wanted to know who it was, it is this person right here. This particular Discord mod loved to just basically whip me and tell me I was wrong in all sense of the word. Yeah, if you've had grievances, maybe drop a comment down below. I'd love to hear your problem that you've had in the server. So the person who's currently reaching out to me said that the moderators have been removing their comments, and when they told me what topic they're talking about, so I looked for that user and the thing that they're talking about, they literally have removed all of the messages bar one that was from weeks ago that wasn't even asking the question. So you know that they've definitely removed some stuff. I just don't get it. Is it like incompetence and they don't want to look like they're not answering questions? And I don't know, just why would you remove someone's comment? Like, that's just weird. Okay, right. We're now going to divulge into the welcome section of the server, which is done by the community manager here. We hope to have a friendly and positive space. I guess they should emphasize the hope, because they definitely don't have a friendly, positive space. Rules. Now here's where we're going to be proper having a look at this, because I'm sorry, devs, community managers and moderators, if you can call yourself those, yeah, you are totally going against your own rules. But let's crack on. Always be civil. Always be civil. Okay, that is the one thing that everyone else tends to be, except the fucking moderators and Tripwire themselves. Be civil. Don't post anything that a reasonable person would consider offensive, rude, or abusive. Well, whenever I've detected that the moderators themselves are going against this, they then ban you, take away your roles, and remove your comment, or they then play victim and tell you that you're overreacting when you step up to them being offensive to you, or you find something rude and abusive from another person and you try and diffuse it yourself. Everything gets flipped onto you. So that's hilarious coming from, the community manager. Respect each other. See, that's even in bold. Respect each other. Again, a thing that the moderators and tripwire and community managers do not do. Just treat everyone with respect and you shall receive it back. I became a content creator. I got nothing but vicious venom thrown at my way. Personal attacks won't be tolerated. Oh, okay then. So your little cronies, Dragonfly, they're allowed to personally attack other people in the server and be sarcastic to them. They're allowed to criticize them, but it's in the rules here that you can't do that. Instead, provide reasoned counter-arguments that improve the conversation. Yeah, that doesn't happen. All that happens is the moderators, all of it's gone to their heads, and they just act like they can do anything they want. They can go against the rules, they can treat people like shit, make them feel terrible. If you see a problem, report it. Yeah, no, I'm not going to report it when you are the problem. Why would I just be involved in a bitchy Discord group chat? I've definitely had defamation, I've definitely had harassment, definitely had abuse and slander, and I've had all of this. Put it down in the comments what's happened to you, and if you yourself can see that they've gone against their own rules. But I've definitely seen material like people are playing on it. But yeah, again, another thing, offensive content. Disrupting behavior. Disrupting the server and people using the text voice rooms is not allowed. Okay, I will definitely have something to say here, because when I had an issue a few months back and I felt that I was being attacked in a general chat by a certain moderator, as we've said, and their cronies, the conversation went a certain way, and then I noticed that she had made a voice chat room, because when you join a voice chat, you basically create an extra, you click here and you create a room and you can rename it to whatever you want, and then when you leave as the room creator, the voice chat leaves as well. And I noticed that the voice chat name was a very, very dry, sarcastic take on a comment that I had said. I had friends reach out to me who had read what happened and said, oh, that does sound very bitchy. And so I was like, it's kind of joking and laughing at you. And I was like, I know, I can see it. I'm not stupid. I'm very with it. This feels very high school. So the fact that they were abusing your own moderator, by the way, definitely set a voice room, had a very sarcastic comment to try and hide the fact that it was a kind of snarky response to something that I had said and how I had felt in the general on that particular day. It comes to the fact that we couldn't post GIFs in the general chat, and I'm in a fair few servers and I've been in even bigger ones in the past, and in general you literally could post GIFs, or sometimes there'd be GIF sections, but it's so clicky and I'm not part of that group, so I don't get it. And then them chiming in, how could you? And then them saying, also, I'm glad there are no GIFs, otherwise this would just become yet... And this is what pisses me off, right? Because you shouldn't say this kind of stuff. I don't care if you don't find it offensive, but when you are that person, feels like it's, being an offence, and especially as we know how these people act and treat other people, right? Especially me at the moment. Otherwise, it would just become another basic white girl spam fest of the same couple lame reaction gifs no one cares to see. No one cares to see half your shitty, weirdo, boring conversations of nothingness in Discord. People actually want to have proper conversations and not feel like they're not part of this clique where the conversations sort of don't mean anything or do anything, and no one can feel like they can chime in, or it's not game related or anything related, it's click related. It feels like it's a private DM that's being taken over in this whole server. That's what it feels like. But anyway, I was like immediately like, whoa, you ain't attacking me like that, like, or saying that in front of me when it was me and someone that I was gaming with were talking about, oh, how come there's no gifts here, could that be a thing? They told us in the past that it might have been abused. Everyone wants to read walls and walls of text, Yeah, what the hell is that comment though, Wild. That's wild. I'm in a fair few, and they do, but guess they just have stricter mods, and activity also had more boxes and verifications, so I think it adds to declutter spam or toxic accounts. Just, carried on their little weird conversation. And then I went, lol, your opinion is wild. White girl spam? That no one cares for? Lame reaction gifs? I'm howling. Wow. At this point I was proper, like, it was one of those moments where I had to sort of spit out my drink and have a chuckle, because it took me by surprise. Because imagine if I was saying black girl spam. It incites racism, and I know that can be taken as a far reach, but not really. This is Discord. This is meant to be mature. You're supposed to be 17 plus in here, by the way. And so far, these people act like they're in high school, like under 17, because I wouldn't say something like that and then add like an opinion as such. They could have just said, what they say here. I'm just glad there's no gifts because I care not to see reaction gifs. That would have been a better thing to say instead of adding in this wild sentence. And then they immediately, because I stood up and I said, what the fuck, basically. Oh, defensive queen boss over here. Not sure what you're saying there. Seems toxic. I'm toxic? What your friend just fucking said was very toxic. White girl spam? White girl spam? Like, you could have just said spam. You did. What's the white girl part got to do with anything? It feels a bit racist, especially when this conversation is stemming from me and my friend who plays Killing Floor. To say this in general is still weird, but then to say it after me talking about the conversation feels like this was like another backhanded spite at me with a hint of racism. Like, racism works always, by the way. So yeah, I just thought it was wild. And why did they have to make it so personal and like vicious and toxic and racist? I said, yeah, that comment is toxic, and albeit offensive to any white woman here, took me a bit. These are all the cronies, by the way. These are her cronies, all trying to act like I'm in the wrong. No, your reaction to it was, I am the toxic person here. Okay, but you know that's not allowed in the server, right? Did you read the fucking rules? And these are the same people that always message me. I went, oh wow, yeah, definitely took that the wrong way. And now they're trying to say like, but you can just let it go. Poorly, again, because they've been called out on their shit, they poorly try and change the conversation without going, oh yeah, shit, sorry, that could have come across as like rude or racist or abusive, toxic, whatever. That's not my intent. But instead they try to say, oh, I'm the toxic one here, blah, blah, blah. Just because you're buddies with the moderator. If I was a moderator and I saw that shit, I'd be banning people. Warnings and bans. This was my post before I got my role removed. I don't really give a shit. But it was one of my last videos in there talking about Killing Floor 2, how to be a great medic in Killing Floor 2. I did, however, change the thumbnail. So because I'm not allowed to post much to talk about it, I said working on my Killing Floor 3D video next, but for now, enjoy this one. So then the moderator created a thread. I was like, oh, here we fucking go. She's never going to say nothing positive. It's going to be what I've done wrong. So what I did wrong is, considering your next message is about this very video, please consider reposting within this thread. So I got told off because as soon as I posted the video in this section, I then posted this piece of art that I did, and I wanted to talk about, and I did mention, because it got deleted, I did mention that this took me quite a lot of hours to do because I had to painstakingly copy the Prestige 5 background from the game, because to make it landscape and bigger, I couldn't just copy and paste it from a game. I had to design it myself. So I did all of this, the lines, doing all this to make it look like exactly like the Prestige badges. And at the time, I then changed my YouTube video thumbnail to be the same thing. But actually, as I described here, I even mentioned I'm making custom badges and pictures. I said it's backgrounds I've made, so it comes under artwork. It's not actually related in a sense to the video. By the way, at the same time, this is what my link actually looks like. And I said, again, a DM would have sufficed, because I said I have others. I have other ones that I wanted to post, but I didn't want to spam. And I'm calling her out on this behaviour of telling me off, creating a thread. She could have just deleted my image and then privately messaged me, hi, I've just deleted your image because I think it's you reposting, blah, 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 even though I know it's not. She knows it's not. But she didn't do that. So I said, again, a direct message would have sufficed. Thanks for deleting my artwork, because this is my artwork. It's not me posting my YouTube video. Here her cronies come in. Oh, this is the other one as well. What makes you think you are so special, BB? Really fucking bitchy, nasty little comment here. This is the kind of stuff they talk about all the time. They always say snarky things or directly just come at me with this kind of shit. And I jokingly, because again I'm light-hearted, I'm very special, thank you, Axie. My mum said so. Understandable, have a day. Like, what? I don't get it. It's not funny, it's not hilarious, it's just snarky, bitchy high school abuse. Another crony comes in. So they've just watched all of this. You forgot to add nice in there as well, otherwise that's quite rude of you. This is the kind of behaviour they always do, by the way. It's very bitchy, very sarcastic. You're very welcome. Always happy to teach Discord etiquette. Had an error, so they had to edit it. Discord etiquette. Discord etiquette would be fucking message me privately with issues that you have, not publicly scolding me with all these rules that I tend to break that never existed until I made all these mistakes that you weren't happy with. Well, I'd love to hear from a community manager or Tripwire employee about everything. If there was that communication about, thank you, sweetheart. Then she goes, you already heard from a community manager. Your last warning came from one of them. And I said, where was this? I heard no such thing. When was I warned by a Tripwire employee? I never got a ping, like a notification, like a little dot to say I've been added, and I do have that turned on. And also they didn't reply in a thread. I've never had that, and I never got a private message either, and I do have messages on if I'm in a server, or you can even just add me as a friend. I never had that. It was Dino Warning, should be in your inbox. I didn't get an inbox or even a message request or a friend request from anyone called Dino. And then this opened my eyes up to think, is this a private Discord and community manager Tripwire devs group chat where this Dino person has maybe said, I'm going to DM them? But the fact that I never got a message from Dino, and it's not anywhere. It's not here. It's not in the other posts or any. It's nowhere. This doesn't exist. If they ever show me it, I'll be fascinated of why I wasn't fucking notified or why I never saw it. But I never got a warning from anyone. He's literally quoting the fucking rules, but they are literally going against them. This is it here. Do they not see that? It's literally hypocrisy in your face. How much of a hypocrite can you be? We do not entertain moderation arguments in our public channels, but this is exactly, you started it. Here's the evidence. There's your evidence. This is the evidence, it's all here. This is literally it. And I was getting this pretty much on every single thing that I posted. This was on a post where I'm just talking about a video. And then because Dragonfly had an issue that I was then posting an artwork that was similar to a video that I posted. It's not me posting the video again. Like, are you Delulu? It's literally me describing the picture that I've just designed, which took me hours to do. I said, it's funny that your mods don't follow the rules and are constantly using sarcastic spite. It doesn't seem right. I'd love to email the community managers about all of this, as I've had people leave because of their behaviours and vibes. Defo worth looking into. Cheers for the reminder. Have a great day. Again, just pointing it out because, and I said this months ago. Okay, so another bit of evidence. I will just mention as well, I don't know how long this video has been going on for, but I don't care. This is my video. And yeah, so this was another thing I posted. It was my Killing Floor 2 as a masterpiece video. It's actually been deleted. And another thread started by you-know-who. Why would you post the same thing you already previously posted again? So at the time, like, things weren't really active in this server. Like I said, there was barely a content creation post maybe every other day, or like, no, it wasn't even every day, it's like once every 4 or 5 days someone was posting in there, unless it was her live stream, Twitch live stream. So one of the videos that I did, I was very proud of it, and I've hit a milestone. My videos grown quite organically, just hoping that it would get a bit more views, hopefully, because, yeah. But no, you're not allowed to do that. And by the way, at the time, there wasn't any rules stating you could or couldn't do this. And I was happy to just say, okay, well, I won't do it, but you didn't say there's any rules, so I'm not saying that what I did was completely wrong. It can be done, people have done it, but she made it a massive issue than what it needed to be. And again, this is all public, in a public thread, not private. So we're doing moderation and telling off people publicly, which is like against their TOS anyway. Anyway, so one of her cronies, sarcastic comment. So they're in a voice chat, by the way, like at the time. They're usually always in a voice chat, at least they were. And so I said, explained it here, I hit a milestone and it's in line with the rules unless your mod team would care to make a list, because they didn't have any rules on this topic. You seem to really love, again, because she keeps doing this, I'm going to call her out publicly on her shit, because she doesn't DM me, she does everything publicly, so I called her out. You seem to love poking at me since I've been here. If you'd like to DM me privately, you can. Again, poking at me in public isn't a good look for a moderator. I'm more than happy to talk to a dev or community dev or mod for any issues professionally. I can also say, why do you keep posting your live stream as it's the same link? Just really odd behaviour, to be honest. I also deleted my previous one. My inbox is always open. Cheers. I've kept that civil. I've pointed out the error of her ways, and I've said how it feels for me. This person I just replied to as the way that they do, you know, given the same medicine. Thanks for watching it if you did, I appreciate it. Trying to be upbeat. I don't know if they did watch it. And then I get this. You don't see anyone else do this sort of thing, so please refrain from acting entitled. Also, I will address you, this is it, I will address you anywhere I wish to do so. Basically saying, I will go against our own Discord rules, I will speak to you how I want to, and where I want to. So I can't tell her what to do in a professional setting. She thinks, by the way, that I was being entitled. No, Dragonfly, I'm being a professional, civil content creator. You've just got an issue with what I've said because you think it's entitled when it's not. The thing is, this is all coming across as a bit of like jealousy and inferior complex. The fact that this was before my medic video, so the one that I've just done, this was the first issue where I was making all the mistakes, and this was apparently where I was supposed to have heard from another mod or whoever. Again, no one reached out to me, but again, she'd done it publicly because she can do what she wants. I will address you whatever I can do so because she's the boss, right? Even though their rules say that we don't do this publicly. You can't talk down to people just because you're a moderator. You are just a person just as well, just like the rest of us, except Tripwire have given you the privilege to support and help the community grow. I have a problem with assholes who treat people like this and go against their own rules. If I may interject, this has nothing to do with you. This is my video that I posted. It's best to take things slow for a moment and take a little walk and then write it into a DM. Arguing with a mod in public will never turn out well. Well, I feel like this is something you should be saying to your moderator here, because I didn't say anything to start with. This was all of her doing. I hate people who lie, hate people who act entitled or speak down to people. It's absolute bullshit. We're all humans at the end of the day. No one's better than anyone. We're all the same. We're all watery meat sacks, okay? We're all a bunch of Zeds. And I just think this behaviour is just so cringe. And I'm going to point it out because I'm so sad that I've got friends and viewers who reach out, and sometimes mentally they don't deal with this shit as well. They don't like how they get spoken to or treated, because this is real life to a lot of people. It's not just Discord, it's not just chronically online. You know, being a moderator doesn't mean you can have an attitude and act entitled as you do. I'm getting to see why people I know left and felt oppressed. That is a word that I've heard a few times. Just further proves my point. You do have something against me. It's so wild. Again, my DMs are open. I've said this so many times because this is the proper way you do things, not publicly. This is an ego thing, by the way, for those who love control and ego and to have a bit more validation into their role or their being, you know, their success. They love to do things publicly, and it even like blow smoke up their ass again when they've got followers who support them. So again, should take it to me privately. They probably wouldn't have liked it because I definitely would have spoken a bit more, you know, harsher truths there. Some truth is hard to hear sometimes, but I've had to hear a lot of horrible truths and accept that, and it's made me change a lot in my own life to accept my own traumas and the way I've acted in my past. And you can say I'm just being dramatic and who cares, but I know there's going to be gamers and people out there who do care, so this is for you, I suppose. If you have any quarrels or issues with me personally, all my content, all posts, which you should have done, but it looks like you enjoy poking and scolding publicly and unprofessionally. A list of rules pinned wouldn't go amiss in this room, but all is duly noted and then funnily adds to notes. Because there was no rules and no one said anything, and it's not fully described in the main welcome section at all. She just asked why you posted it again. And again, bear in mind, this was like 3.5 weeks later. If there was like maybe 150 plus posts since my video, probably would have not been noticeable. But the fact is, I deleted my post. And then 3.5 weeks later, I come back to post the video. But that was a massive issue. And again, there was no rules at the time. So I'm like, if there was like 100 plus posts since my video from 3.5 weeks ago, I wonder if it would have got picked up, but I think it's because she has nothing else better to do. It's not that deep. Take stuff like that to DMs. If you feel really unjustly dealt with, DM another mod and figure it out privately. This is not the place for drama. I'm sorry, Lanny. Cute cat, by the way. I don't know if that's your cat or if it's just a meme. But I didn't fucking start any of this. This was a thread created by herself, where she can personally attack me again with the whole egotistical thing, the narcissism, the inferior complex, all of it, right? Because that's exactly how it comes across to me and everyone else that I've spoken to. I've asked her multiple times to speak to me in DMs, to delete the whole thread. By the way, this is all publicly still up in the server, so you can go and read all this for yourself. I did ask someone to delete all of this, or why hasn't it been deleted? It never got deleted, which has been great because now I can come back and get all the evidence I actually need. Got the receipts. And I agree, it's not the place for drama, but guess who started it? I'm just trying to end it and confront them at the same time. But apparently that makes me the villain. I state it again, my DMs are always open, and that they are, for this reason. But as I stated above, I am always getting poked and scolded, even though there's never been roles put down anywhere. Literally could have messaged me privately, but she decided to make it a public drama thing. I'm great, just learning how the server works. That's literally all I'm doing, and I'm pointing it out. And it's like they can't take it. They're just not understanding it. At least from an outside point of view, it didn't sound like starting drama. What? Is this just chronic online Discord people? How delulu can you be? Just a reminder not to do multiple posts. You could have DM'd me this. You didn't need to make a thread, which is literally just meant to be a hole if people want to comment about the video, right? Not to tell me off and scold me. That's something she loves doing. And by the way, when they do this to other people in general, what I've noticed and I've got and seen from other people, they do like to delete messages and delete what they've said. So the fact that she's kept this up and not deleted any of it is just bizarre to me. Well, now's a great time to delete thread. I literally have said delete the thread, and then she locked it because she likes to have the last word, as she does on my other post as well. Do you see how it's all like, oh, I didn't do anything wrong, I'm not making you feel that way, I'm not making you oppressed or, you know, scolding you, blah blah blah, even though I can do what I want. And then this weird shit, BB is exactly what we needed in the server, someone who's finally talked sense. And I know this is sarcasm, like this is actually a dig. I've been bullied in my life. I know when people are digging or saying something that's not actually full on true. Like the words are there, but it's not actually intent behind the words. And then like this, I wish everyone was like BB. Like, it's so bitchy and like weird, and I know that's not what they mean. But on a serious note, UB's viewers, just anyone, I have to state this as well, because this video can be taken out of context, can be broken down. I don't want people reacting to it and then saying their negative shit to me, because it just gets the whole bullying and nasty shit rolling around. I am just stating my experience and feelings and emotions with backed up research and other people's same validations. If anything happens to the people mentioned in this video, it is not a direct result of me demanding or saying to do so. That is you as an individual making a choice to incite violence or harm, and I condone that or accept it. I actually wish everyone in the Killing Floor community well. I'm a massive advocate for mental health and people with anxiety and depression. Just know that what you do has an impact on the world, no matter how small, and a little goes a long way. I would love to get an apology from all of these people, a sincere one. I doubt I'll get that, and it'd probably be another little bitchy topic or another VC being made or group chat, whatever. But because what I have gone through is quite mean, and I haven't even divulged quite a lot of else what's happened, I've had to state a lot of stuff with seriousness, because videos like this can get taken way out of hand, and I'm only wishing for the best for everyone involved in this video. Like I said, I wish everyone well. So yeah, I was very passionate there, and we all know why and who from, but I feel like at this rate, if you have had a negative experience in the official Killing Floor 3 Discord server and on their official Tripwire Twitch channel by the moderation team and maybe the devs themselves and the community management, then you need to realise this all stems direct route to Tripwire themselves, because they are essentially acting on behalf of and allowing certain things. So if you've ever felt a certain way, just know that it actually stems direct to them, because otherwise you wouldn't feel that way, because those people wouldn't be in power, and specifically the moderators, because they're not actually Tripwire employees, and like I said in the video, they do go against their own rules. They're very hypocritical and just disgusting human beings, in my opinion. Sorry, but they are. That's not defamation or whatever. That's just true. I've never felt so disgusted by how I've been mistreated by other people in my life, and yeah, I feel like there needs to be an apology said to me and to other people who have left, because it's just not on. As well as the silencing on social media, you're not allowed to post any comments on their socials unless it's arse licking the game. You're not allowed to have any critiques or say anything negative. The same as on the Twitch channel. If you say that you're not happy with the game, you will get berated and bullied by the moderators, even timed out or banned. Yeah, it's just not on. It feels really clicky, really weird. I would suggest for Tripwire to remove your moderation team on Discord, because that is an extension of your game. And if you've got people maliciously and, just ill-treating other players and community members and pushing them aside, or, just wasting their time, making them feel small, making them feel not a valid just community member. I've had my own issues, I've stated them, but this is not on. It's really unprofessional and it's just not very nice. It just, this is another part of your community. When people are trying to make friends, they maybe will reach out to things like the Discord, and this is how you treat people in there. Like I said, I pointed out everything that goes against your own rules. I'm more than happy to have a sit-down conversation with your moderation team, even community managers, but at this point I do think it's very biased, very cliquey. I do not feel very welcome in the community, apart from the friends that have actually reached out, but the whole in itself, if I just don't agree with what's happening on the Twitch side and the Discord, as well as the management side on social media, like silencing people. But yeah, I digress. How do you feel? If you had anything like that happen to you, do you feel silenced? Are you just not happy with how you've been treated in the Discord? I've been trying to reach out to a lot of people, and I have been trying to stifle through a lot of comments and screen grab as much as I can without saying other people's names, because I'm trying to hide the people that don't want to be called out, because they don't want to get harassed, and I'm absolutely okay for being the person that speaks up for them. So yeah, it's not on Tripwire. something needs to be sorted there, because it's just foul. I've never known such a negative environment in my life. So you've got a really negative, aggressive, malicious, narcissistic, gaslighting, clicky Discord with a few devs in there that don't really get involved, and then you've got some devs that do, and then you've got community managers that seem to stick their oar in. And I'm sorry, but a community manager is not a dev, okay? So I see them as totally different departments, but the way that they're allowing certain behaviors and hiring, or not say hiring, but, you know, creating these moderators and having this group, it feels very cliquey and very malicious in the way that they mistreat people. And, you know, the certain moderator that I pointed out with the clique that they have, and allowing the behavior of those community members as well, which still go against the rules. I just think this is a huge negative impact on your game in a whole as well. It's a big part of it, because it's again it's a massive server with thousands of people in it. A lot of people are in there because they just want updates knowledge on the game and, you know, dev progress, and that's absolutely fine. But a lot of people are also in there maybe to make friends, to, you know, voice their opinions, or just maybe find some people to just game with, maybe not even just a friendship way, just, oh, who's free, you know. But it's such a horrible environment. And so that's one thing I absolutely cannot stand with Killing Floor 3. I've had issues with it for a while, and a lot of it stems from my own experiences, but it's been added and heightened because other people have reached out and expressed their own concerns. The game itself is not ready for launch. I've played Killing Floor 2, I've played a little bit of Killing Floor 1. I've mostly watched and researched 1 because I couldn't play too much on controller for 1, but I've played a few hours and I enjoyed it. You know, I just wish I could play it better, but guess what? The devs don't care about making a controller-friendly Killing Floor 1. Why not? A lot of people play on controller, especially a console audience. You know, why not have it available for controller players? Really copied homework from other games, so uninspired. They've kind of like ruined how the Zeds looked, because they want to make them more futuristic. They changed the lore a little bit, but now we've got stuff that doesn't even look like what we remember. I'm still not happy with the crawler design. I really miss the spider-like Zed, and I wish they could have enhanced the spider Zed, because now we've got this sort of ant termite headlouse looking thing. Just it is what it is, I suppose, but it's definitely not ready for launch. There's a lot of issues, there's a lot of jankiness. Guns don't feel 100% great, they look boring, the maps aren't fantastic, the grinding aspect is awful and sloggy. There's only a few like things that are great, but again, they can still be expanded upon. Is like the skill tree. Some of the songs are okay. Some maps have good looks to them, but they still don't have that lived in feel, or there's some graphic infidelities in some places, you know, and the lighting, etc. The way they handle like social media and comments, silencing people, that's just not on. It's so bad. You've got to accept people are not happy. To be fair, I can imagine 90% would have a turnaround if the game actually was launchable and was great. All these changes were made, all the things that I've pointed out and other YouTubers have pointed out and other veteran players. If that was all changed, I imagine people would be absolutely raving about it in the comments, but instead you decide to silence the haters and the people that are giving constructive criticism and pointing out the flaws and what's wrong and what doesn't feel right, as well as the obvious IP identity and just copying other games. I don't get it. You had it so well with Killing Floor 2. I've made so many videos about Killing Floor 3 and I don't think I've had much goodness to say. I think the only video that I think was more positive was my changes video, and that was how to make Killing Floor 3 a success, and I think they took on board maybe a few things, because it seems like they'd listened to a few things that were said in that video. But yeah, this isn't great. I hate making these negative videos. I'm really hoping one day I can actually have a positive Killing Floor 3 video, but I've got a Killing Floor 2 video that's like why Killing Floor 2 is a masterpiece. Go watch that, because that'll give you some nice positive energy, you know. So I really hope things change. I'm not a hater of the franchise. I absolutely love Killing Floor. It's one of my favorites, but what they're doing is just making me not like the franchise, and I'm scared because it's my reputation and it's my gameplay on the line when it comes to investing back into the game that I love so much. So feel free to add me on Steam at BBtheBEE. I love to play Killing Floor occasionally, and I also love to help people get their achievements on it. I'm still trying to get my Killing Floor 1 workable for me as someone on controller, but it's just not working yet, so I need help. But yeah, I might play Killing Floor 3 on launch, but I've said it before so many times, I don't want to hop on the bandwagon of like, rage bait or negative review, you know, bait or whatever. I will be honest, I was gifted a game. If I wasn't gifted it because someone in my community knew that I was very passionate about the game and my recent video, and they were like, I'm going to gift you the game because hopefully you'll like it, I'm only going to play it for them, because otherwise I would be waiting maybe a year or two before I'd even consider purchasing. So in that regards, I will give it a review on launch, but I'm doing it for my own community. I'm not really doing it for me, because I know in my heart it's not where it needs to be yet, and it makes me sad because I have a lot of memories for Killing Floor in general. So fingers crossed, it turns out way better than we hoped and expected, but I don't feel like it's there yet. Anyway, thank you for watching. Apologies again if it's way too negative and you hate a woman nattering, but just know that I'm really fucking passionate, okay? And I make a lot of other gaming content. It's slowly coming about, but I also have a second channel if you want to catch all my gameplay for my streams. I'll link that in the description as well. But yeah, thanks for watching. Consider subscribing. I'll see you in the next one, and maybe in the launch, but maybe not. I don't know. Okay, bye.